Good afternoon, evening. Welcome back to more fantastic games here on this Super Saturday as we are here for a Cast My Match redemption for Team Azure. Over here we have Aiden VR. Aiden, how are you?
I'm doing so good. It's game time.
It is game time. Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
Good. We're excited to be here. And tell me about this Cast My Match. What made you decide you wanted to cast this?
I didn't specifically pick this one, but it was one of the matches for the week, so I was like, you know what? Let's do it. I'm gonna spend the points. Let's get a match casted.
Very good. Well, we're happy that you did that, and because this is going to be a fantastic match as you guys take on Oshibka right here this evening. It looks like you guys are using a league sub tonight. So
Yeah.
how are you feeling about that?
Oh, I've played with Minty before. Minty's great. I love him.
Very
5-star
good.
league sub.
Yeah? Awesome. What are you anticipating in this match tonight?
Oh, I have no idea. It is.
Nothing.
It's still anyone's game. That is for sure. Obviously, I want to win. So.
Well, good luck to you. We're going to let you jump back in there and get with your team as you guys ready up here in just a second, because we are ready to go and we're ready to start. I'm Jeepgirlz. With me today in the casting booth, I have Pinched-Nerve, and over on sideline and analyst is the Blank 56, and of course Wonder T-Man on cams. So we are completely ready for you, and you guys can go ahead and ready up as soon as you're ready to go. All right,
Okay.
guys, Pinched-Nerve, how are we looking?
We're looking good. You know, Azure is rated 130th, and looks like Oshibka is 151st. But so they're fairly close together. I've noticed that Oshibka seems to be a newer team. They only have 3 matches so far, so we'll see how they do tonight.
All right, and Blank, you have any words for us before we jump in and get started?
Not at the moment. Actually, I'm going to research these teams a little bit, and then during the middle round, I will have quite a bit to say about them, because I mean, I'm already looking at their team pages, and I'm seeing quite a few interesting things to point out as I'm looking at it. For one, if we do look at, and I know I said I wasn't going to say anything, but it's a little late for that. If I'm looking at it, and we have Oshibka, who is actually their new team, and they ended up beating quite a few teams that people may know of. 2 of them were by forfeit, but one of the ones they did beat is Tenacious Herbivores, which, if you do not remember, last season they finished flat. They are now holding on to high gold, looking like they're going to be flat again. So just putting their skill level up against Azure, who is still about mid gold, sitting at gold 2, which this certainly does mean that that they have the upper hand there. However, if we do go over and look at Azure, they are also a new team to this league. However, a lot of these players have been playing the league for a while, so they already have that bit of advantage. Plus, they've played more matches this season, by a long shot, than Oshibka has, which gives them the chemistry advantage as well. So while we have one team with a skill advantage, one team with a chemistry advantage, so it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out.
Yes, indeed. All right, Pinched-Nerve, you want to tell us who's playing for these 2 rosters tonight?
Absolutely. For Azure, we have Khaki Horse, Mr. Cthulhu 13, Murph Dog, and a Bloody Mess. For Oshibka, we have Flute, Paris. Oh, I think I have my labels backward here. I certainly do. Okay, so for Oshibka, we have Khaki Horse, Mr. Cthulhu, Murph Dog, and Bloody Mess. And for Azure, we have Flute, Paris, Minty as a sub, and Aiden VR.
Very good. Well, I am absolutely looking forward to this match. Like we said, Aiden VR has saved his channel points and redeemed those for a Cast My match. It's so simple to do because points are earned by watching matches. The more matches you watch, the more points you earn, and you can redeem those for all sorts of cool things, including the coolest, which is Cast My match. So we love it when people turn those points in for that, and we see you guys down there in the Twitch chat. We're so glad you're here. Absolutely thrilled, actually, that you guys are here. Circle, I see you there saying hello, and TGI, I see your comments. I don't know about that, Pandora. We're getting there. We're getting there. Maybe by the end of the season, we could play one of these 2 teams. It does look like Khaki Horse has switched over to the Azure side for a moment, and maybe they're discussing. There we go. The ready up right now, and we are about to get underway. So let's go. Echo. All right, right. I'm sure they are both nervous about coming out right now in this incredible arena, and they are going to quickly come out, and that is going to be Azure with the disc first there. Paris going to send that one all the way down into the bubble where the Murph Dog, oh dear, they have dropped and lost a player already. Murph Dog gets that disc off though to Mr., and Mr's going to send that one back. Going to be intercepted there by Paris though in the midfield. Looking for the pass, going to find it, but goes a little high and a little wide and not quite connecting.
It's going to be picked up to Paris, and then they're going to try to toss it into the bubble, but it's a miss, and it's sent out by Murph Dog. Murph Dog clears it down the left tunnel, but it's picked up by Flute. Flute's going to creep up, looking for a pass, looking for his teammates. A stack approaches, but no, it's passed out. It's into the bubble. Paris has it on the edge, pass it to Aiden VR. Aiden VR gets the first 2 points of the game.
It looks like those are he spent channel points in order to show off his goal skills here. So that is incredible. And they are going to be on the board first, just a minute into the round. And that gives Oshibka the joust advantage here. And they are going to, oh, there we go. We've got our fourth player back in, BTC, 1, 2, 3, 4. But that disc is going to go right back into the bubble there. And they are racing to get it. Minty does get a hand on it, moving towards the goal. And that is another goal right there for Azure.
I just love how Minty just casually brought it into the goal, kind of tempting. You think you can catch me? No, there's not enough time. It's in. 2 more points. And so Oshibka has the joust advantage once again. Coming out of the tube, Murph Dog is going to launch it into the left tunnel, but there's nobody there to catch it except for Azure. Aiden VR has the disc, passes it out, and bounces off a Geo, picked up by BTC. BTC hands it right over to Paris. Paris is going to pass it into the bubble. And unfortunately for Paris, it's going to be picked up by Murph Dog and sent partially out, but not quite. Going to float around a little bit. Aiden VR picks it up, a little juking on the wall, but it's snatched by Mr. Cthulhu. Mr. Cthulhu hands it over back to Flute. Flute passes it, sends it right back into the bubble, and we have a goaltender there. Murph Dog grabs it and clears it all the way out.
Yes, he does, but Minty is there to pick that disc up, going to come back out of the bubble. Now, we're seeing a lot of teamwork here, and I haven't seen anybody really necessarily trying to solo. How important do you think that is, Pinched-Nerve, to make sure that you're playing as a team? I see Wiggles Dash there in the Twitch chat talking about how teamwork is definitely important.
Teamwork is absolutely essential in this game. One man, one woman cannot handle 4 players. I don't care how good they are. One master cannot handle 4 diamonds, and they got another 2 points, this time by the sub Minty.
Minty is definitely pulling their weight tonight in this arena, which is nice to see. I'm sure they're happy that Minty is here and was able to fill in as a league sub for them tonight. That's going to be awesome right here as Joust advantage goes back to Oshibka once again, and that disc is going to be all the way through the tunnel and up into the bubble where Mr. is there. If they can get a handle on that disc, we might have a goal here pretty quick. A nice quick slap there. Going to send that disc back across the arena. The stack is stacking up there by Azure, and they do have possession of the disc now. Triple stacking. Oh, but we had a leech situation go on there, which was a wise decision. Murph Dog there in the floor to pick it up, sending it back into the midfield.
And Paris is going to pick it up as it's floating back toward the orange bubble. Paris is looking for a pass, and they better be careful. Someone's right there, and they grab it. BTC grabs it, clears it out, but Minty is right there to snatch it, grab it, pass it off to their teammates. Looks like Paris is going to toss it over to Aiden VR. Aiden VR is avoiding a little stunning action there, but it's in the orange bubble. Almost picked up by Paris. Paris is looking, and unfortunately for Paris, Mr. Cthulhu grabs it, clears it out through the right tunnel, but Minty is right there, passing it right back into the orange side. Aiden VR sends it, and it's a ding. Such a close shot.
That is a close shot, and that disc, though, is not quite going to get in as they do Joker train a little bit with each other, trying to get another one in. It does ding off the ring again, and Mr's going to make that clear all the way down as the stack comes in and grabs it. Paris inverts there. Going to move back through the arena, sending that disc long, nicely connected to Minty there. Minty giving them the go-ahead, telling them to move forward. Aiden with the disc, going to ding it off the ring. That was crazy. It just circled the bottom of that little ring there. Flute now with the disc moving towards the goal. Finds the pass to Aiden. VR on the floor, and that disc is back into the hands of Minty for another goal.
Great goal. A lot of playing around there, too many dings, but you know what? They got the goal, and they are now up 8-0 with just under 5 minutes left. And Oshibka is going to have the joust advantage once again. Will they do something with it this time? We'll find out. Coming out of the tunnel, it looked like it's going to be picked up by BTC, who's going to pass it off through the center. A little bouncing around, but it's intercepted by a stack. Minty passes it down into the orange bubble. It's picked up by Bloody Mess on the other side. And a little scuffle there and passed back into the Azure side of the arena. A little floating around there. And Aiden VR is trying to grab it, and Aiden VR grabs it and sends it out. And oh no, geometry's in the way.
It is indeed right there in the trap, but that disc is going to go all the way down in almost into the bubble where Bloody Mess does make the grab, sending it back. But Aiden is there to pick it up, being the knight in shining armor and grabbing that disc, flinging it forward. Not quite going to go in, though, as Paris and Aiden are going to have to back it back out. But BTC steals it, sending it all the way down into the blue bubble. Going to bounce across the arena and come back out as Aiden is there to make that grab. Sends it back to his teammate Flute there. As, you know, they have some pretty heavy offenders on that end that were trying really hard to get that disc. And now everybody's going to have to get back to defense pretty quick as Flute does send it across. Nope, Paris sends it across, sorry, to the other side of the arena.
Looks like it's up, picked up by Aiden VR on the backboard. 2 more points. It is now 10-0 in favor of Azure. It's going to be yet another joust with the advantage to Oshibka, whatever. Hey.
Don't give up yet. You can just call him Ob.
BTC is going to send it out of their side, and they do have somebody there, but so does Azure. Azure grabs the disc and sends it right back to their stack. Aiden VR sends it toward the orange bubble. Bounce it all a little off nest, and now everyone's going to have to come back and get it. Looks like Murphy Dog grabs it, stunned out. Pass it along anyway. Picked up by Mr. Cthulhu, who sends it toward the blue bubble, but it does not quite get there. Fortunately for them, they have a teammate, Mr. Cthulhu, sends it in, and oh, it bounces off of Flute's head right into the goal. It is now a 2-10 game.
You know it is, and they've gotten themselves on the board here, and I hope that they grab that momentum now and run with it, and I hope that they're able to maintain that. Joust advantage is going to go back over to Azure now with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock. That's going to be a quick send as Aiden retrieves his own disc there and gets stunned out, though, by BTC. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sends that one all the way down to Murph Dog. It's going to bounce off the shield, and it is anybody's disc right now. They're trying to get a hand on it. Paris does, but Paris loses possession with a nice stun and steal. BTC with the disc one more time. Going to move towards the, held it a little too long and got stunned back out by Paris again. Going to send that disc all the way down into the bubble and across the floor where Minty picks it up. Moving towards the play now. It's a 2v2. Now it's a 2v4, but that disc is going to go in and stretching that lead to 10 points.
This is a great game. 10 points. I'm not sure the time at the moment, but 1 minute, 30 seconds. We have a timeout. Which team is calling timeout?
I'm not sure, but it sounds like it was Oshibka, and we're going to jump over to Blank. Blank, tell us how it's going so far.
So far, what I've been noticing, statistics-wise, is over 2/3 of the possession time has gone over to Azure, which is to be expected. But the players on Azure that is going to is Minty and Aiden specifically. Both of them, the only ones on the team with points. Paris and Flute, to their respect, do have multiple assists each and are there with the saves. So it does seem like Minty and Aiden tend to be playing more of a front stack aggressive demeanor, while Paris and Flute are looking for their passes and just trying to work it upfield. Paris tends to get some quick shots in every now and again. None of them seem to make it yet, but they are definitely quite accurate. They just tend to get picked up in the bubble. Something else I'm noticing from Azure's side is they aren't doing typical resets. What they will end up doing is, instead of resetting it like you would normally, you turn around, you throw, they will stack together and you have one person going towards their own side of the field, and then one coming across, and they will throw it to the people coming across, and then stack with their other partner so that um, there's no lost momentum. It's never static. They are always focused on moving around and trying to get from point A to point B. They're very focused on their quick plays, very focused on just keeping the disc in motion and keeping it inside of their own possession, even if that means that they may end up, taking off a point like we did see um, with that last one where just unfortunately they did get scored on. However, uh, another thing just to point out here in the side of Ab Ab Abshi Ab
Oshibka.
Abshika. It is it's an interesting name. I think we were talking about before when we said it was Russian, right?
That's what
Um,
we found, yeah, that it was Russian. I'm not sure if that's the
Either
same version that
Russian.
they're using, but yeah.
That's what we have found from our own thing. If it's not, I'm sure they'll let us know. Um, but what they seem to be doing is a slower pace, and they don't seem to be passing nearly as much. They seem to maybe a little disoriented at times, and the communication seems to be a bit lacking. And this is kind of to be expected because this is their first real VRML game. If you look at them, I was saying earlier, they have played, they have 2 other games on record, but this is their first season, and those 2 other games were both forfeits, forfeit wins, which did, that boosts their MMR up into this level. So maybe they aren't ready to be playing at this level yet. Maybe they haven't had time to practice together. Either way, not playing your first 2 matches and having them just be handed to you is something that's gonna definitely tank you a bit because you're gonna go and you're gonna jump a lot of MMR. You're not gonna be ready for it. Some of the best advice I was given when I first started from VRML was start at the bottom and work your way up. And it's because if you start at the top or at the middle, you will get crushed most of the time, and it'll end up turning into situations like this where you haven't played much, you aren't that experienced um, with it, and then it ends up coming back to bite you when a team comes through and they do essentially what Azure is doing right now, with a 10-point lead over against Ab Abshika. Is what I'm gonna say. As they're just gonna sit there and they're gonna get points back to back, especially when you're playing the same strategy they are. They're playing that more relaxed, slower strategy against a team that's always trying to keep possession of the disc. That's just a whole another mistake that they're making right there. You don't want to be playing a slower pace. You want to be trying to match them, but uh, while staying on the defense. You want to match their reaction time. You want to match their speed. Because if they can, we saw a good example there. Aiden went upside down and started juking out most of the players. As he was on the scene, he juked out most of the players just to get an open lane to pass. And, if you can't play as quick as some of the players on Azul, then what you should be doing instead is backing it up and trying to play a stronger defense. You shouldn't keep trying to combine this slow defense and a quick offense mentality. It doesn't work too well. But there's a minute 30 left in the round, and we did get that on pause, so I'll hand it back to you guys, and we'll see how it ends.
So it does look like they are coming back into the arena there, and that's going to be JJ now has come into the arena and going to send that disc all the way down into the blue bubble there. As they're racing to get to it, we'll see who comes away with it. That's going to be BTC going to sink one in there, getting another 2 points on the board, shrinking this lead to 8.
Yeah, I noticed on that timeout there, it looks like they subbed in somebody. Had 5 people there for a bit of a long time. I'm not sure the timing on that. So everyone knows when you're subbing somebody in, you can only have 5 people in the arena for 30 seconds to sub them out. Arena.
Switch mode's back.
Aiden VR comes out on the joust, tosses it over into the orange side. Looks like the Stack's chasing, but Stack doesn't get it, but Paris does. Paris loses it to Murph Dog, who clears it out into the blue bubble. They only have 20 seconds left. I don't think they can do it, but they're certainly going to try. BTC is going to send it to the back of the goal for 2 more points. It is 6-12 with 11 seconds left.
Yes, 11 seconds is not a whole lot of time because now we're down to 4 and they're not going to make it out of the tunnel. So that is going to give Azure round 1. Nicely done by both teams. We had a lot of changes on the in-game roster today. That was kind of intense over there for Oshibka. So I hope that they are okay there, as they are asking some questions in the Twitch chat that probably need to be asked and ask here. But if you want to take a second, you are welcome to. Otherwise, we're going to jump back over to Blank to see how they need to balance this out. What do they need to do right now?
I touched on it for quite a bit there, but I will go back to it because there's a few small little points to say, and I feel like just saying that they need to do something isn't nearly as good as giving an example. So I will say, what you could do better for the Oshibka team is when they run their defense. If they want to keep that defensive, then that's fine. If they think they cannot match the speed and pace. But what they would have to do is they'd have to spread a very close defense, but they'd have to run it per player. So, for instance, I'm not going to be able to talk because the round's going to start, but I'll give it back to you guys. Enjoy
well, they're going to... Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be another fantastic round here. Best 2 of 3 always takes it in VRML, and they are going to jump right back in here. And let's see what happens. A quick joust there by Azure. Going to get that disc down into the bubble, but they do not have possession of it as Murph Dog does grab it, sending it back through the tunnel for the clear. That one's going to be right there in the floor too. Aiden VR picks it up though, sends it across to Paris. Paris sends it long, but it's going to be intercepted there by Mister. Mister's going to send it back down, intercepted again by Minty. And this disc is probably going to change possession a lot right now. Right there outside of the bubble is Flute with the disc moving towards it, but did not see Mr. sneaking in from the other corner of him there and stole that disc.
It was slapped out. Looks like it's going to float around the blue side, but there comes the Stacks. And it's picked up by Paris. Paris is going to send it back out, but it's going to bounce around the mid. Picked up by BTC. BTC hands it right over to Paris, who sends it right back into the orange side. Stacks are coming, and here comes Minty, picking it up, looking behind. Oh, I have somebody there. Let me get rid of it. But missed the pass. Fortunately, pounces up to Paris. Paris sends it over to Flute, who's looking, and unfortunately for Paris, it is stolen by Mister, who tries to clear it out toward the left, but it bounces before getting out. Looks like they're going to float, try to grab it. Murph Dog picks it up, and oh, another bounce on the geometry there. And it gives Paris opportunity to pick up that disc and send it right back into the orange side, along with the Joker train there. Here we go. Unfortunately, Paris gets stunned out, loses the disc, and it's cleared over to mid.
It is cleared only to mid. You know, and I haven't seen Joker trains work a whole lot in some of these matches. I've seen them work in some of the really, really high ones when they're goofing off and being funny. But you know, it's fun to try it, I guess, and to see what you can do and what you can manage. So I'm sure that's why they're giving an effort. BTC now with the disc on the floor, moving across, going to send that one to Mister. Mister going to move in, but loses possession of it. And Murph Dog gains it back, but loses it to Flute as Flute sends it back down. JJ is there to make that grab, though. Going to send that one right back into the bubble where Murph Dog moves towards the goal, and they are on the board first here in round 2.
Well, we see what happens with Oshibka. Oshibka. Jeepgirlz, I have to wonder, you know, you've been casted before. Is there a certain nervousness when you're being casted when you're playing?
There is. There is, because you know that people are watching you. You know that if you make a stupid mistake, I mean, you already know that you've made the mistake. Your team knows that you've made the mistake, and then everybody who's watching VRML knows that you made a mistake too. And it's just one of those things. I think you have a tendency to finally forget that the cameras and the casters are there, and I think that's when the game settles down just a bit. But initially, it can be a little frantic.
I just wonder if some teams might use that to their advantage. You know, I have this, I'm going to get my cast with 15,000 points. Maybe I could use that to unnerve the other team. Maybe Aiden VR is doing this just to unnerve the other team.
Maybe. Maybe. I
It's,
think Aiden just wanted to be cast by the casting team here because, you know, he's one of us. So, yeah. I think he wanted to be on the other side for once.
well, he's there now, and it looks like it's going to be picked up by Paris, who's looking toward the orange bubble. Sent into the bubble and bounces right back out. Little jumpiness here. Flute grabs it, sends it back to the right wall. And Paris is looking for a pass, and there it goes across. It's picked up by Mr. Cthulhu, who's going to send it out their left tunnel.
Yep, and that is going to be who? Aiden VR picks it up right there and is going to send it back down, but JJ picks it up instead, making the interception. Paris grabs it back again, sending it all the way off the wall and into the goal for a beautiful 44-3.
That was a beautiful, unintentional, intentional goal. It's always on purpose.
It is.
Especially when you get points out of it. So Oshibka's going to be on the joust advantage this time. Looks like they have a stack coming out the bottom tubes. JJ is going to send it down to that stack, but it gets missed. It's picked up by Minty. Murph Dog steals it, goes for a shot goal, but does not make it. Picked up by Mr. Cthulhu and stolen by Aiden VR. JJ grabs it back from the pass and gets stunned out. Disc is floating, and picked up by JJ, sends it back to the bubble. Minty picks it up and clears it out through the tunnel, and here come the stacks. Who cuts here first? Who's going to make the goal? Picked up by Minty, looking, and 2 points for Minty.
Very nice play indeed by Azure there to stretch that lead a little bit further, and, you know, they're going to have to, Oshibka's going to have to put it in gear and dig in and find it. And I know they're missing their captain tonight, but you know, sometimes you got to give it your best no matter who's in the arena, and you should always play your best and play your hardest and do what you can. You know, you're not always going to play perfect. Do what you can and keep working hard and see what you can do. Paris with the disc, going to send that one all the way down the arena. Going to get stuck in the midfield though as it bounces off of a Geo. BTC picks it up, sending it forward. Going to be in the bubble. Stacks are coming in as Mr. does make a shot, but it's not quite going to go in. It's going to bounce out of the bubble where Paris does pick it up. Paris looking for the clear, going to find it across the arena, but it's going to bounce right back. Those darn Geos. Minty now with the disc, sends it forward and trying to get it through tunnel, but it's going to get stuck on the lip of the tunnel there where Paris is going to pick it up once more, sending it through, and it's going to get stuck again.
Aiden picks it up and walks it forward toward the goal. There's stacks coming up. There's a goal, and it's saved by JJ. And pass cleared out right to Minty. Minty sitting in the bottom of trench, sends it up toward Nest, toward Aiden VR. Aiden VR passes it down to, not showing me who has it, Paris. It's stolen by BTC. Tries to clear it, but once again, the geometry is in the way. Flute grabs it, passes it over to Paris. Paris is looking at that goal. They want that goal. There's all those goaltenders. 2 more points through the big iron into the goal. It's 2-7.
2-7 indeed, and they definitely have given it a valiant effort here in Echo Arena tonight. And we've got 3 minutes left on the clock. Round 1 already going to Azure. Oshibka really needs to take round 2 so that we can get a third. Mr. does have the disc, going to send that one all the way through. Going to bounce around in the tunnel area where Minty's going to get a slap off of it, but it's not quite going to go where he wants it to, and Mr. has to pick it up one more time. That disc is going to go all the way through, back down into the edge of the tunnel, and they are trying so hard to get it down the arena. Murph with the disc, going to send it, but it's going to go a little wide and not quite make it in the goal. Aiden VR going to slap that disc all the way down into the trench there, and they are going to have to, somebody's got to get to it. There we go. As Mr. grabs that one, I expected to see stacks come flying in from the teams. BTC with the disc, going to send it all the way in, but it's going to bounce off that old shield there. Aiden with the disc now.
Aiden's going to walk it forward, looking for his stacks to go through, and then send it through to his stacks. Picked up, and it's picked up by Murph Dog, who's going to try to clear it out to their right side. Does not make it. Picked up by Paris. Paris resets back to Aiden VR. Aiden VR, who's upside down, looking for the. Oh, and it's stolen by BTC, who clears it out the left tunnel. It's going to bounce down by Trench, and let's see who kicks. Oh, it's going to be picked up by Mr. Cthulhu, who's going to pass it up to Murph Dog, who's looking down at that goal, and 2 points bounced off of Minty's head.
Nice goal indeed. Nice teamwork there. Some good passing going on from Oshibka there. And they've got 1:47 seconds left on the clock here in round 2. Joust advantage going back over to Azure, so we are going to see what they do with it. Are they going to answer? They had a little trouble getting out of the tunnel, but Paris is there to grab that disc. Going to jump over BTC, and that disc is going to go all the way down into the trench and through it. Flute with the disc now, going to cross over to Aiden. Aiden going to juke around a little bit. A little fake pump, but does lose possession of it. And that's Mr. with the clear. Going to send that one back down into the midfield area there, where Minty is there to pick it up, sending it a little bit wide. But the pass will get picked up by Aiden over on the wall. Aiden sends it over to Paris, nicely connected. Paris back to maybe a little miscommunication there, not sure. But that disc is going to wind up free right there under the goal.
And it's cleared out by BTC. Well, it's attempted to clear out by BTC. Minty's right there to pick it up. It's going to send it right back in, and it's picked up by Murph Dog. They only have 38 seconds here. It's bouncing in and back out of the bubble. The stacks are going to be coming. It's stuck down in trap, picked up by Mr. Cthulhu, and they just got the 30-second warning, so you know they're getting nervous now. It's going to bounce back and forth between Shield, picked up by JJ, who's going to bounce it around some more. And boy, this geometry is really rough on them tonight. 2 points by Murph Dog. They're still down by 1.
You know, they were trying to get that disc back out of the bubble in order to get it in, but if even your hand crosses that bubble line, then it automatically gives it a 2. Like nothing. And what's crazy, I don't know if you've ever looked at the disc, but when you cross into the bubble, the number on the disc changes, which is wild. And I think it's fun. All right, Mr. Blank, tell us about it.
Overall, this round was definitely a lot closer than last round. Coming in a measly 1 point difference here. Definitely turned things around a bit. Think a little more of what we were seeing there was we saw our Azul get a little more cocky. They weren't doing they didn't carry over those resets that they were doing in round 1. Overall, their stacks were a little bit slower this time too. Maybe they just think they had the upper hand for a while, and you know they did end up taking it away. However, if we do look at it, stats wise, the possession has now evened itself out to about 55-45%, 55 for Azul. So you can definitely tell they start to slow down there, and the offense coming through from Oshibka definitely played a big part there. They started to try to match the pace, and they just ended up capitalizing on a lot of mistakes that ended up being made from Azul.
And you know, they still seem to have a really good match. Both teams did. They found some things, I'm sure, that when they watch this back that they're going to correct and move forward, and that's what this game is about, right? You see things that you do that need to change, and you make corrections, and you learn, and you practice those skills, and you keep moving forward, and that is incredible to me. So we've got a couple more matches this evening. I know I will be back at 9 o'clock with Aiden VR, and I have no idea who else, but I am Jeepgirlz. With me has been Pinched-Nerve and Blank and Wonder T-Man on cams, and we will see you soon.
VRML Echo Arena is brought to you by HyperX, Asterion Products, Border Foods, VR Cover, ProTube VR, Rebuff Reality, and VRware.net.